Day-to-day here with Corban University head softball coach Nathan Ohta. We're here for the 2016 softball season preview. And Coach Ohta, it was a historic season last year when you guided the Warriors to an exciting run to the CCC Tournament Championship, the first in school history, and then a trip to the NAIA National Tournament. Can you talk a little bit about the momentum that the program has generated and how you feel you guys are going to use it moving forward?
I think the momentum has actually been building for a number of years. This is my 9th year as the head coach here, and when I took over, I go talk to coaches and go recruiting and stuff, and people never heard of Corban, didn't know how to pronounce it or where it was located, and the program hadn't been real successful in terms of wins and losses, and so as things kind of started to get rolling, that all changed, and we've played in a conference championship game 4 out of the last 6 years and been to the national tournament 2 out of the last 3. So, I think it's been a process. And last year, the winning that conference championship was important, probably from the standpoint of setting the stage for us to start strong this year. A lot of success in the postseason is determined by the national polls and being ranked highly enough to get an at-large berth or to get a good draw and a good schedule and not have to travel once you're there. And a lot of the large majority of the national raters are based on the East Coast and in the Midwest and don't see the teams on the West Coast play very much. So, when we won that tournament championship last year, we had to beat the teams that ended up ranked 3rd and 4th nationally in the final poll. So I think that kind of legitimizes us in terms of the national raters, and hopefully we'll be ranked highly to start the season this year and be able to build on that as we move towards the postseason.
So now this year, the CCC is going to have a very different look in 2016 with the additions of new teams, now with East and West divisions, and everything once again kind of culminating in that CCC tournament. What do these changes do to the CCC?
Yeah, the Cascade Conference added 4 new teams this year. 3 of them will be in the East Division and 1 in the West. And because of the number of teams and the number of games that would require and the amount of travel, we've split into East and West divisions. And the long and the short of it is, instead of playing everybody 4 times this year, we will play the teams in the East Division twice each, and then the teams in the West Division four times each. There will be 5 teams in the East Division, 6 in the West, and it's just the divisional games that really will have an impact on your postseason chances. The West Division will get 3 teams, automatic berths to the Cascade Conference Tournament. The East Division will get 2, and then there'll be 1 at-large berth, and there's a whole list of criteria for how that team will be selected. And then it'll be a 6-team tournament from there.
Another new caveat to this 2016 season is that the CCC has 2 automatic berths to the NAIA National Tournament. Talk about how that changes the mindset, if at all.
Honestly, I don't think it'll change a lot. The Cascade Conference has established itself as one of the top softball conferences in the country, and we've had 3 teams qualify for the national tournament for the last 3 years. So, it won't necessarily add any teams to that national tournament from our conference. It'll just make it so that we can avoid having to wait for the selection committee to let us know whether you get an at-large berth or not for one of our teams. But as far as changing the mindset, both of those berths will still be awarded through the conference tournament, so you still have to make it to the conference championship game to get one of them. And when you get that far, you want to win it anyway. So I don't think it'll really change the mindset. It'll just save somebody a sleepless night over the weekend waiting to find out if they qualify for the national tournament or not.
You lost some strong players from last year's championship squad, but you have a very strong core returning. Who are you expecting big things out of in 2016?
Honestly, I'm expecting big things from all our players. There's some that definitely stand out. We've got some, our entire pitching staff from last year is back. Jess Holsinger, Emily Burkle, Sabrina Boyd, and Danny Horn. And they were good last year, but they've looked really good this fall and into the start of spring practice. So everybody knows that pitching is a huge part of the game, and this is the deepest and most talented pitching staff that we've probably had in a long time. So that'll be something to watch coming up. And then all of our position players returning are strong, and people don't, I think there's some of them that are going to come in and catch some teams by surprise because we used them in reserve roles last year or in key moments, but not necessarily as our featured players. And I don't think people really understood how good those players were. We have a very talented and very deep squad, and all of these players have played for us in key moments in big games against some of the best competition in the country, and I think they're going to surprise some people.
Another very strong recruiting class. Which newcomers should we expect to make an impact this year on the field?
This year's recruiting class I'm really excited about, and having watched them play this fall and then now starting spring practice, I think that they're probably even playing a little bit better than we anticipated. And we have a few freshmen coming in, Grace Uda-Galarno and Ashton Porter and Mackenzie Giancola that probably will play some pretty significant roles for us. They're very athletic, hit the ball well, can run pretty well, just give us a lot of different options. And then we have a handful of transfers too. Raina Reese, transferred from Western Oregon, had a tremendous fall practicing for us. Ashley Lynch from Wenatchee Valley Community College, outfielder, lefty slapper, a lot of speed, has looked real good, gives us a different component to our offense and another weapon and another way that we can play some short game and generate runs and hurt some people. And then the last transfer, Iris Rodriguez from Wenatchee Valley as well, and she had a phenomenal career in the NWAC and broke all kinds of records, and she's probably one of the most athletic players that I've ever coached. Very, very good defensively and fun to watch, but hits the cover off the ball. So that would be 6 of the newcomers that are going to make a big difference that I'd probably watch if I was a fan coming out to check us out.
So big things ahead this year. What goals and expectations do you have for this year's Warriors softball team?
That's always a tricky one to answer because you don't want to put too much pressure on the team to do something that hasn't happened yet, and you don't want people to feel like you didn't accomplish what you say you set out to do or whatever. But that being said, our goals are set pretty high, and right now we're focusing on the process and just getting better day by day and doing the little things that it takes to be where we want to be at the end of the season. But we've sat down as a team and we've talked about where we want to be, and we've made it to the national tournament twice in the last 3 years. We've won the conference tournament, we've won a conference championship, and we want to be at that final site where you're 4 games away from a national championship, and whoever puts it together will be that team. And that's kind of the mindset we're thinking along right now, and we're just kind of taking it day by day, working hard to be in that position.
Well, thank you, Coach, for joining us today for the 2016 softball season preview, and good luck this year.
Thanks, Dan. And go Warriors.